That's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Comic Reviews that is just going like a piece of shit already. I literally, before I did the show tonight, I moved my tower from over on this side of my desk to over on this side of my desk so that the wireless broadcasting thing would be closer to the router. That did not work. Just frustrating as shit. Can't get anything to work for this garbage. But we'll get there. Thank you for sticking with me as we do. For Christmas, I got a new desk light, so I got nice white light coming at me now instead of bright yellow, but I may end up hooking up the other one and trying to get a better bulb for that, and then I'd have a more balanced look perhaps, but who knows. As you may have noticed from the thumbnail, there aren't a lot of comics this week. In fact, there were none from my pull list, and there are very little new books this week from any company at all, much less Marvel or DC. So I didn't actually get any books this week that are new. I got a book that is technically a week old, that is also reprints. So I figured I'd probably do some Q&A tonight or something, for at least a bit. I don't have anything planned until about 10, so probably just going to do that. So, what am I talking about tonight? Just this, Zorro Legendary Adventures. I picked up Zorro Swords of Hell #2 last week or the week before, and saw that in the back there's an advertisement, and it's the same one I got here, for Zorro Legendary Adventures. I'm like, oh, cool. There's going to be another Zorro book, and then it's like, in stores now. I'm like, they didn't tell anyone there was going to be another Zorro book. The Zorro marketing team is severely lacking in that. I follow the only official Zorro Twitter account, and they tweet just nothing ever. Whoever's in charge of it clearly doesn't know what they're doing. Just a terrible account, really. And the people that own the license to Zorro are pretty crap at doing anything besides holding on to the license of Zorro. So that's just kind of what you can expect. And so I don't, honestly, with that, I don't expect this book to do very well, because it's reprints to begin with, and it's just, you know, someone it's got no marketing behind it. But yeah, Zorro Legendary Adventures is reprints of old comics from the 70s. This reprints Zorro Burns the Boards, which was originally presented in Le Journal de Mickey, so the Journal of Mickey, as in Mickey Mouse comics. Mickey Mouse French comics, there we go. The Betrayal of Garcia and Prisoner, all in Le Journal de Mickey, from 1975, 1975, and 1976. Written by Jean-Marie Nadeau, and the English script is by Mike Wolfer, with art by Robert Rigaud, R-I-G-O-T, Rigaud. Robert Rigaud. Translation and letters by Natalie Jane. There is a new cover, and I do quite like the cover. The cover art's brand new. I thought that was cool. So yeah, these are French Zorro comics from a Disney magazine back in the 70s. For those that don't know, Zorro had a very successful, very, very good television series with Disney, broadcast by ABC back in the 1950s. Was super popular for decades, even though it only got 3 proper seasons. There's a 4th season that's a little weird. But yeah, that's a neat little thing. And each story is, I mean, it's pretty simple. The art, you know, you look at it and you like that's 70s art. There's a cultural thing, or it's conceivably a cultural thing, because if it's not, it's just done poorly. I'm not sure about the flow of panels in this one. That one kind of got me. There's a number of times in every story, so it's not really like it's... Oh, this is a great example right here. There's a number of times in every story where the panels are stacked really weirdly that breaks up your ability to read them effortlessly and like to know where you're supposed to go next. So this page right here is a pretty good example of it. 1, 2, 3, then what? 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6. Like, it's really hard to tell where you're supposed to go next at certain times, because like here you've got the word balloon overlapping the other panel, but it's to this panel. So naturally you would think to go, okay, so this feeds into this. But then you've got these two stack panels right here, and just the layouts are odd here, and I'm not sure if that's like a thing French comics do for some reason that I'm not aware of, or really what to make of that. Anyway, so the first story, all these are pretty typical. Zoro sees a problem and saves the day. So the first story, there are some actors putting on a play making fun of the governor. The governor sees it, gets really pissed, and arrests one of the actors, the leader of the troupe, and says, all right, fine, I'll let you go, but you gotta put on a play about Zoro and make fun of him. And so they give in and they decide to do it. But then Zoro gets wind of it, and he kind of shows up and pretends to be the actor on stage playing the buffoon version of Zoro, and he throws food at the governor and challenges him to a duel, and Zoro always manages to capture the governor so that the soldiers will not shoot him in the face, and then he escapes. Pretty simple, pretty fun. I quite like that idea for a Zoro story of, you know, some trying to use the voice of the people in stage against Zoro, and Zoro kind of playing into it, very theatrical. I really like that. The art's pretty good. This is very obviously based on the Guy Williams Zorro Disney series, and you got, you know, pretty decent likenesses, especially for the 70s, of the actors. You know, Guy Williams looks like Guy Williams. Garcia looks like Garcia. It's pretty on point. And that's throughout the entire book. The betrayal of Garcia is kind of an interesting one, because Garcia was always so goddamn incompetent that he might as well just have been helping Zorro. And so this is like the military brass kind of realizing that and wondering if he's secretly working with Zorro. So they set a trap not for Zorro, but for Garcia, and Zorro has to find a way to save him without looking like he's trying to help him, and yada 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 yada. It's fine. I quite like Garcia, so it's fun to see that, but it's really not much of anything. Kind of a reason this comic came out in the 1970s and no one's ever talked about it until today. And then there's Zorro Prisoner, where Don Diego rides up to his house and sees that it's under lock and key by the military, and they're like, we have orders not to let anyone in because we believe that Zorro will stop here for supplies because we think your father is harboring Zorro. And so it's just this big hurrah about Zorro being there and everything. Don Diego has to Don Diego and Bernardo have to find a way to convince the guards that not only does Zorro not ally with the De La Vegas, he in fact hates the De La Vegas. So, got Diego rides out as Zorro and says, "As for you, Alejandro de la Vega, listen to me. I consider you and your good-for-nothing son accomplices of Governor Mitelio. You think this big blowhard Garcia will protect you? He will not prevent me from visiting you whatever I want, and I will prove it to you." And big posturing, sword fight with Garcia. It always ends exactly the same way, with Garcia on his ass. So yeah, nothing too exciting in this first issue, but I always enjoy reading some Zorro. So it's fun. I enjoyed it. Nothing really deep, nothing really special, but it was fun. Kind of a cool chance to get some 1970s Zorro comics that I never would have gotten before. I mean, I appreciate them providing the translations and all that stuff. I find it very funny that the publisher is called American Mythology Productions. Yeah, this is a French comic. I'm just going to point that out as a laugh. Well, says I got one viewer, and so far the only comment I've gotten in live chat is, "But there are no comics." That's not true. There were books out this week, just not from Marvel or DC, surprisingly. Usually they'll rush something out, even if it is the week after Christmas, or the day after Christmas, but still. Well, I don't know, I'll give it a couple minutes, see if anyone wants to leave a comment or whatever, but if not, probably just gonna sign off, go do something. I could watch an episode of Lucifer. I've been really enjoying Lucifer. For anyone that hasn't checked that series out, I think it is super fun. Always had a thing for the whole murder mystery, police procedural kind of stuff. I really like those. Or I really liked those growing up, I should say. But then as I became more politically aware, I'm like, wow, this is really propaganda. It's like the police are always the good guys. Everything they do is always justified. It's kind of crazy. And the thing I really like about Lucifer is it still gives me that murder of the week fix that I really enjoy. But it also isn't afraid to show like dirty cops, dirty law enforcement. Even like not afraid to sounds kind of like it's daring it and it's making a big controversial thing by doing it every other week or something. But like they just do it when it's like not even necessary. They'll show like a corrupt law enforcement officer. So I really appreciate that. I was watching one episode, and the villain of the episode, the murderer of the episode, is an ATF agent, and the plot has nothing to do with him working for the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. He's just an ATF agent, and he kills people, and it's like, well, shit. Oh, I don't know. It's nice. It's nice to see something that's not afraid to portray law enforcement in a bit more of a negative light, so I really appreciated that. Oh, what else going on in the world? Man, there ain't much, man. No comments yet. I don't even know if I have any viewers proper, so I guess I'm not doing any Q&As. Oh well. I ain't gonna sit here forever and just talk about Lucifer, but I don't know what else I can do. That's the end of comic reviews for this week. Sorry I was 10 minutes late. I hope that didn't turn too many people off. Technical difficulties being what they are. Alrighty, folks. Last little sign-off thing I'm going to do is talk about Comic Book Club this Saturday, December 29th at 2:30 or 2 p.m., one of those two, Eastern Standard Time. We're talking about Klaus, the Holiday Wonder by Grant Morrison and Dan Mora. So hope to see you there. Till next time, bye.